Hello everybody, Burko here with this week's pontification. Today's subject, immigrants and immigration. And it's one of those subjects that's been around and becoming more of an issue for a lot of people. For anybody who doesn't know, I've immigrated 3 times. 1975 I immigrated to the United States. In 1980 I went to New Zealand. And in 2006 I came here to Laos. I never had any problem. I was kind of fortunate. I guess I got the timing right, had the right line of BS, because I even managed to get myself a green card in the United States. Still don't know how I winged that. Anyway, but I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about where immigration and immigrants are having a bit of a rough time at the moment, because out there in the world there are a lot of people who are really unhappy the way that job security is disappearing for them. So there are publications, influencers who are trying to convince everybody that the immigrants are the issue, and if you get rid of the immigrants then the problem will go away. Well, that isn't going to happen. The reason that there are job insecurities in the present economies of a lot of places around the world, especially in the Western world, it's because the economy is too efficient, or the factories were moved to the east, should we say China, Asia, or south to Mexico, because labour is cheaper there. Now, it all makes sense, of course. There's a lot of people who try and convince you that it's the Chinese that did this. Well, it's not the Chinese, it's the factory owners themselves that did it. So, what do? Well, we've got a lot of people out there who are now starting to blame immigrants, and they're taking their frustrations out on the immigrants. The latest example of that is in South Africa. There are now unofficial gangs running around in South Africa, and they're saying, right, you've got till the 30th of June to leave, or we're going to make your life so miserable, you're going to walk out. Well, that's all very well and good, and the South African government has now started to round up a lot of these official and unofficial immigrants and started to take them out to somewhere else, which is kind of hard. There was one example I read about a woman, I think she came from Nigeria, I'm not sure, but as a child she has no connection with Nigeria at all, doesn't speak the language, has no family there, so she's stuck. And what does she have to do? She now sits around near government buildings because that's the only place she can be sure she's not going to be attacked. We've also heard that in Ireland there were a bunch of people who were running around and pulling people out of their houses and burning their houses because they're immigrants. And of course I've got a problem, and you are the reason that I've got a problem. It's not true. The reason these people have got the reason these people have a problem is quite simply because the economy is too efficient. Machines, AI, are now making the economy so efficient it simply doesn't need so many people doing anything. I'll give you another statistic, and that's China. China has, using the term gig economy, it has 44% of the people in the gig economy. Now, these are people who drive Ubers, deliver food, sell food on the side of the road, sell clothing. In other words, zero security in their job, and that's 44% of the population. And this is going to get worse. But the most important thing we need to remember is the immigrants are not the reason why we have this efficiency. A lot of them have left where they were born because their countries do not have an economy that will support them. Part of that reason is because the West, in its infinite wisdom, decided to remove the government of the day. There are plenty of places all the way from Iran to India and countries in between, all those countries in between. I know I went through there in 75. Sorry, 72. Those countries were just fine. People had jobs. They weren't making a lot of money, but they were at peace. And then, of course, the West comes along, decides they want to remove the government for whatever reason. Things have changed. So when you see immigrants, please think of them as people who are just simply displaced and are doing the best they can. So if we want to live in a peaceful world, then we have to stop picking on the migrants who are coming to your country. They will improve your country. In fact, the United States was actually built on that assumption. I think we have to remember that. Anyway, that's my pontification for the day, for the week. See you next week. Ta-da for now.